Coming up this week, off-screen, Tom Cruise and the IMF are back for Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Reese Witherspoon and Sofia Vergara go on the run in Hot Pursuit. Michael Douglas hunts Jeremy Irvin in Beyond the Reach. And Adam Sandler does some cobbling in, imaginatively enough, The Cobbler. All of those to come and more off-screen.
This is OffScreen. OffScreen. With the latest film news and reviews, this is OffScreen, the on-screen radio show.
Welcome to OffScreen. I'm Van Connor.
I'm Cassie Guyon.
My name is Kase Allen.
Every time with the my name is, never I am.
I know, I don't
Is it like a reverse prisoner thing? It's
I
not
think
like,
so,
I am
yeah.
a number, I'm a free man. You're like, my name is, I'm a free man.
I can do a prisoner thing next week if you want.
I think you should.
I'll just be number 6.
I think it's just a throwback to wanting
so.
to be Eminem when he was a teenager.
Oh, yeah.
Quite
Should have seen with
possible.
blonde hair. Yeah.
So, should we start with a look at Hot Pursuit this week then?
If we absolutely have to.
Well, we absolutely do have to, unfortunately. Well, I say unfortunately. It's actually not as bad as people are making out. People have been really down on Hot Pursuit and coming out of screens going, oh, it's not very good. Were you going in expecting the Shawshank Redemption? Because it's a road trip sort of mismatched comedy duo movie with Reese Witherspoon and the lady from Modern Family, whose actual name I'm pretty sure most people don't know.
You just know it's Gloria.
She kind of is, isn't she?
Yeah.
Sofia Vergara. But most people in the UK don't seem to know her by...
No.
Noticeably more men know Sofia Vergara's name than women.
Unsurprisingly.
Seems to be for a very obvious reason. Although I always remember from Four Brothers when she was Tyrese's girlfriend. But, like that was the whole character.
They want to be like Rosie Perez, sort of.
So you've got Hot Pursuit, which is the latest from director Anne Fletcher, comedy director, and this is basically you've got you've seen this plot before. This is basically the Midnight Run formula. So what you've got is the by the book, would-be cop who is assigned to escort a mob witness from point A to point B. Point B being, to testify. And the mob witness, of course, is Sofia Vergara, who comes with her own neuroses, her own problems. The two are paired as fugitives along the way and have to escape from the law and a series of hitmen, one of whom seems to be from Scandal, which is oddly distracting.
And Cassie's involved.
It's the gay male prostitute from Scandal. He's one of the hitmen. And, right, this is meant to be a twist, but it takes place 2 minutes into the film, so it's not really much of one. Obviously, wacky hijinks along the way, and there's a little ingredient to the Thelma and Louise pie in the form of Rob Kaczynski, who gets the token Brad Pitt Studley Rogue role along the way. We've got a clip.
Please, focus. We need to get close. Yes. Okay, how about you try something completely different of what you are? How about a woman?
Perfect! And you can be a cowboy. It's tight in here. But I know it's day. It's day, right? It's like Vegas. Woo! It's hot.
What is that white thing?
Oh, that's my underwear.
That's no underwear, that's a diaper.
I like a lot of coverage.
So yes, Hot Pursuit. Like I say, everyone's been sort of weirdly down on this, and you can't help but wonder exactly what they were expecting from the setup. But you mean obviously you're a lady, Cassie?
I'm a lady.
Does this film appeal to you?
Not particularly, I'll be honest.
No.
I am not a huge fan of just throwing two random actresses together and being like, they can be funny.
There is an element of that.
Yeah.
I've got to give it that.
I don't doubt Sofia Vergara is funny. I like her in Modern Family.
It is that character. It is
Yeah.
the Modern Family shtick. It is Gloria from Modern Family on the run.
Yeah,
That's it.
She's funny. I like that. I love Reese Witherspoon in her earlier rom-com, Legally Blonde comedy persona. I like that.
Funnily enough, you just touched on something because this is a problem. Reese Witherspoon can do comedy,
Yeah.
but usually she plays it straight in comedies, and that's why she's funny. Because even in Legally Blonde, she's
not aware
not
of her
doing
comedy.
gags.
Yeah.
The idea is that she's oblivious to it. Here, she actually is trying to be funny, and it's passable, but that's being charitable. I mean, it feels like she'd said, you know what, I've done one Oscar-nominated role, and I'll do another one in 3 months' time, but I really just want to have a laugh for a couple of weeks. So I'll have a 12-week laugh, I'll produce this thing. I'll get myself a girl buddy on screen, and we'll just have it's her version of a girls' night. Her version of girls' night lasts 12
weeks
and has a box office
location.
total. Yeah. Her girls' nights have box office totals. That's how it works.
Okay.
And that's what it feels like. And you know what? That's a pretty good description of the film. It's a little bit depressing that Sofia Vergara's entire character does ultimately boil down to, whoa, isn't Sofia Vergara attractive? Whoa, doesn't Sofia Vergara have large breasts?
Well, that's a lot of her character in Modern Family as well. So.
But you see, think if you were going to make the move to the big screen, was this really the role to do it with?
Yeah, I mean, I remember she was in Chef. John Favreau's Chef.
Yeah, she had a better role in that than she does in this.
Yeah, she got somewhat of a personality and character.
I mean, one of the biggest flaws in the film is that it is a fairly aimless, floundering, directionless film. It's literally a case of in the first 10 minutes we'll set up the plot. They're fugitives are on the run. It's 88 minutes long.
Okay.
10 minutes of plot setup, a lot of banter, and you think there's only 10 minutes left of this. And the reason you do that is because all of a sudden they shoehorning in plot. There is more plot in the last 10 minutes of this film than there is in the entire rest of the film. So you've literally got banter and then another 10 minutes of here's all the plot.
Yeah.
And it's really odd and really disconcerting. And you can't help but wonder who wrote this drivel. And then you realise, yes, it's under her company, which I think is called Pacific Standard. Now, they have a very specific mandate, which is they produce films by women, for women. And when you see Hot Pursuit, you can't help but wonder if they somehow missed their own mission statement. Bear in mind, this company produced Gone Girl.
Yes, it
So,
Wild? She produced Wild.
She produced Wild. So they are girl-centric movies. But it just seems that when they've gone for comedy, they've kind of gone too far in the other direction because, this would not pass the Bechdel test at all.
No.
It would not. It would fail very miserably very quickly. Rob Kaczynski's entire character in this film, his character name may as well actually be Sploosh because that is his function.
Would he be like Mr. Sploosh or just Sploosh?
Jeff Sploosh.
Jeff
Sploosh.
Jeffrey Sploosh.
Jeffrey H. Sploosh. That is his name.
What does the H stand for?
Harold.
Huge
Harold. His name is Jeffrey Harold Sploosh. That is his name. Okay? That is Rob Kaczynski's honestly, I couldn't tell you couldn't tell you what his character's name is. Genuinely couldn't because all I know is, hey, it's Rob Kaczynski. They find him unconscious in the car and apparently panic over this issue because they're the only women in the world that ever panicked over finding, Rob Kaczynski.
Man in the car,
Finding Rob Kaczynski unconscious in the back of a car. Apparently something worth panicking over to these two women and these two women alone. I sat in a room full of women from the likes of Heat magazine and Glamour, and I assure you, they would not have panicked by all accounts.
Fanning each other.
The air conditioning wasn't working in the screen, but yes, they actually were. Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, he's an attractive.
For a couple of minutes, then. Let's look at what's been good because there's been some interesting stuff.
It's been a busy old week.
It's been a busy one. My favourite story, I'm going to start with this one. My favourite story, this is the Patricia Arquette story. Have you heard this? A 3D animated reboot of the 80s movie Troll. Right?
Okay.
In the movie Troll were two characters. One was named Harry Potter Sr. and one was named Harry Potter Jr. So, they are now doing a 3D animated sequel entitled Troll, The Rise of Harry Potter Jr. In which case, the word troll could not be more apt if you tried. They are literally trolling the audience with this one.
I really want to see what that film's box office is.
I really do. Wouldn't you laugh if it was like the number 8, like the box office top 10 forever?
Then you go on Twitter and people were like, "Oh, this has nothing to do with Harry." There was no Ron, there was no Hermione.
Well, the big deal was obviously that Patricia Arquette has signed up to this. I'm going to say though that's not as impressive as it should be because I want to point out that Oscar winner Patricia Arquette does also star in CSI Cyber, which is one of the biggest atrocities to ever hit television. A show so bad they're actually trying to save it by bringing in Ted Danson. Genuinely, that is what they're doing.
I will not have any ill-begotten words about Ted Danson.
Have you seen Ted Danson in CSI?
No, but I've seen Ted Danson in nearly everything else he's done.
Doesn't matter.
Is he really bad at that?
No.
Really
Ted Danson, I'm pretty sure, has just started to go in the head. He's just wandering onto set and doing his best Shatnering at this point. That he's got to
feel bad about Danson.
David Caruso is demanding royalties. That's how bad we've got.
Does Danson wear shades? Does he?
No. He's got his own stylish Oakley-style spectacles.
Oh, excellent.
Lovely.
Yeah, and his now completely white hair with his skeletal
Oh, it
face.
works, man. It works.
His,
White hair.
his white hair is quite glorious.
Right. Okay, we've got another one here. Willem Dafoe has joined which interesting enough.
Is this
We
still a title?
haven't got enough dystopian
We don't
sci-fi
have enough.
in
It's an
the
untapped
market.
market.
It is. It definitely is.
I don't know, but I sit in the IMAX screen constantly wearing 3D glasses thinking, why is this 14th century French period drama not a dystopian sci-fi tale?
I'm literally crossing off the days until Scorch Trials comes out. I'm just desperate for it. Desperate.
Well, Willem Dafoe has signed up to star in a film. The title is great, which is What Happened to Monday. I love that.
It's one of those very rare weekend-based dystopian films.
You're gonna be going, because obviously this movie will open on a Friday. you'll be going in saying,
Oh, fantastic.
we have two, so what happened to Monday? And yeah, it's going to star Willem Dafoe from the director of Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunter.
Okay.
Oh, that shows you
So
what's going to happen.
Yeah, kind of die.
Pretty decent.
I don't know, but I really want to
First
see Hansel and Gretel Bitch Hunter with Gretel Bitch Hunter.
I just want to watch the 30 Rock.
That is the greatest 30 Rock joke. Yeah. So, shall we do Mission Impossible next?
Oh, yes,
because you
please.
guys both seen this as well.
We saw it
We
last
have,
night.
yeah.
Okay, so Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, which is now the 5th Mission Impossible movie. Yeah. There are 5 of these now. Did you ever think we'd get to 5 of these?
Well, I'll be honest. This is the first one I've ever seen.
Really? You've
Yeah.
never, all these years, never?
No, I've
Not
never,
even on like film
never
4?
even dipped a toe into the franchise until
Never dipped
last
a toe.
night. Yeah. No,
Not a pinky,
but
nothing.
no, nothing. And after seeing it,
Yeah.
I commented, "This franchise could just go on forever."
It really can. Right, funny story. Before we actually get to the review, I will say, when I was watching Rogue Nation, I did at one point, very early on, when you have a scene with Jeremy Renner and Alec Baldwin, I was sat there thinking, Jeremy Renner must have hated working on this, because in his mind, this should have been the first movie of his franchise.
Yeah.
Because wasn't that why he was brought on the last time?
Yeah, definitely.
He was brought on to replace Tom Cruise, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And
Everybody
then
thought, well, it was going to be kind of
transitional.
next one.
Yeah, it was
Same for
transitional.
Bourne as well. And
Yeah.
I guess everybody saw what happened with that. So maybe
Nobody
that's-
likes the idea of Jeremy Renner replacing them, do they?
I like Jeremy Renner, but yeah.
Jeremy Renner is the only guy that could show up in a G.I. Joe franchise and just have to be there for the rest of the franchise. But it's like the reversed Dwayne Johnson, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not the franchise Viagra. but
He
The
is
Rock
not.
is.
So, Rogue Nation, this is now the 5th one. Basic plot this time around. Ethan Hunt is chasing a band of anti-IMF agents.
That's how the landed.
A secret band of basically terrorism-aligned IMF-style agents who are basically dedicated to causing chaos and
Called
destabilising the
the
world.
Syndicates.
Called the Syndicate. No one else believes that the Syndicate exists. However, Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise, of course he's right, and quickly finds, not only are they real, but that he has put himself in their crosshairs. This happens to coincide with the US Senate and the CIA teaming up to shut down the IMF, because apparently when 3 of your 4 former film villains are all ex-IMF agents, then it's time to shut the agency down. 4 movies, 3 of those villains are IMF agents. Really?
This is what I was trying to explain to you, wasn't I?
Yeah.
It's like
Loads of
24.
double crossing, it's usually bad IMF.
It's like 24. Every time something goes wrong in 24, they might as well just kill everyone in CTU because it's clearly one of them. It's that thing. Who's doing the hiring for these places?
Yeah.
The whole vetting system isn't.
Yeah.
The vetting system is seriously corrupt. So, IMF is shut down. The team, wouldn't you know it, go rogue, because apparently that's what you do. You
It's a clue in the title.
Isn't it?
you
Yeah.
go rogue. Although the Rogue Nation, I think, is meant to refer to the Syndicate, isn't it?
It is.
I
They
don't
do
know.
say the title quite a few times.
They do say it's a
3
Rogue Nation.
times. Yeah.
And of course, they set out to take down the Syndicate on their own terms and also clear their own names. And you know the drill. Here's a clip.
Package is still on that plane.
Shut down the fuel pump.
Mechanicals are locked out. What about the electrical system?
Oh, that might work. No. Hydraulics.
Okay, stand by. No, they're encrypted. Benji, the plane!
Yes, the package is on the plane. We get it.
Can you open the door?
I'm by the plane. Benji, can you open the door?
Maybe.
Open the door when I tell you!
I'm
So, did you have fun with this one, Case?
Big time.
Did you have fun with this, Cass?
Really did. Yeah.
I had fun with it too. Now, that's the thing with it, isn't it?
You finished watching it with me last night.
Yeah.
Turned over to me and said, "Yeah, fair play. That was really
That
great."
was fun. That was enjoyable.
So you would watch the rest of the films now?
I don't know. I still don't know if I'd go back.
Well, the thing is,
I feel like I don't need to. I feel like this is so
definitely the best.
self-contained that I don't need to know what happened before. I can just follow it on from this point.
Well, they are kind of like Bond films used to be in that sense. They are really self. It's only when we got to like the Daniel Craig era that Bond films started to have a loose connectivity. I mean, outside of the whole On Her Majesty's Secret Service thing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny. I actually, in a very strange way, genuinely believe Mission Impossible is now a better franchise than James Bond. Wholeheartedly, I believe that now.
What claim?
That is quite the claim.
Because I think there's a genuine argument to be made, because the Mission Impossible films, and I think it might be, admittedly, because there's less of them, have something that Bond does not have, which is out-and-out consistency. Right? It's also, unlike Bond, the directors come in every time and they make it their own. Now, the last three have been a little bit similar, in some regards, but I think that's because...
I think that's more of them kind of like finding the voice, really, now.
I think because J.J. Abrams set such a great sort of template to work from.
Yeah, you'll notice that they're all produced by Bad Robot now,
yes, that is something I noticed as well.
Yeah.
Bad Robot gets the actual riff of the Mission Impossible theme.
It's there, yeah.
But, you've got all the ingredients that you love in the Mission Impossible movies, which is, the twisty-turny espionage plot. You've got the car chasers, the cool clothes, the sunglasses, the gadgets.
The running.
The running, because you've got to have that prolonged Tom Cruise run, this time shirtless down the hallway being shot. How bad a marksman, by the way, are these terrorists?
I know, the corridor that is like a metre wide.
It's a metre wide hallway. He is running in a straight line away from you. You can't hit him. He's the only thing in the hallway.
You just point straight and shoot him and he's dead.
Now, what I will say about this treads similar ground in some regards to Fury Road, to Mad Max Fury Road, in that the female lead seems to weirdly wind up with a more prominent storyline and thus give a better performance than the actual male lead of not of the title in this case, but the sort of central role.
Yeah.
In this case, that's Rebecca Ferguson, who I'd never seen in anything before.
No,
She's pretty much an unknown. She was in.
She's Swedish, isn't she?
She's Swedish. She was in the Dwayne Johnson version of Hercules.
Was she?
Yeah, which I didn't realise until I was
not
watching
know
a
this.
review about Mission Impossible 5, and they said she was in Hercules. So I'm gonna have to go back because I really, really enjoyed her in this film. I thought she was.
I thought she was great, and she seems to have a good balance between the sort of the eyebrow raised super spy, I'll snap your neck, and the actual snapping of the necks, which is.
I was a bit concerned early on in the film when she's in the beautiful dresses and emerging out of a pool, and I was a bit like, oh, really? You could do more with this, and then they did do more with it. So,
they did a little. In fairness to her, because the Mission Impossible franchise has a terrible track record with women.
Yeah.
It says a lot that every male character that joins the IMF team sticks around for the following films. Yeah. Yet the women are ditched every single time. I mean, at one point, Tom Cruise's wife, like the character's wife, is literally ditched.
I did keep questioning that. I knew he had a wife, so every time there was like a slight flirtation,
Isn't he married?
Isn't he married? Doesn't he have a wife?
I'm not sure what the story is. Is he officially widowed, but in actuality she's in hiding? Is that what it's meant to be?
She's in hiding, because at the end of Ghost Protocol, when he's saying goodbye to Benji and Luke and everybody else,
he does his stalker routine.
Yeah, and she looks in the back of a wave and they have a bit of a moment towards the end of the film.
So you've got the real world stunt aspect to this as well, because again, like Fury Road, it's all about the practical effects.
Yes, it is.
And boy,
he's 53.
He's
man.
53. He makes you feel it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really waiting until he's like 60 and he's still because he'll still be doing this.
Well, they have said that they're going to start doing Mission Impossible 6 as soon as possible, and I think a good reason for that is because of his age.
Yeah, I think they'll get it out when he's like 55, 56.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I mean, they say you've got the real world stunt, and do you know what? That is still as thrilling as it's always been. Mm-hmm. But the biggest problem with it all is there is an aspect to it that you just kind of feel. Yeah, I kind of feel like you've turned this into the Coca-Cola of movie franchises now. As in, you can serve me a Coke, and on a hot day, I'll really enjoy it. But I know it's Coke. Sometimes you want something a little bit more. It needs Jack in it, for instance. It needs Jack Daniels in that Coke. This Coke has no Jack Daniels in it.
What would be the Jack Daniels for this franchise for you?
I don't know. I don't know. It feels like it does feel like a sort of conveyor belt sort of franchise at this point. It does, because it is the same kind of film. It's different enough to still be enjoyable.
I think that's because we're, like, as you said, the revolving door of directors.
And it is, and that consistency is a double-edged sword. Yes, it is consistent, and it's nice to know that there is that level of quality
you get
to
John
do
Woo
it.
involved.
Again, I still like the John Woo one. I watched a bit of it last night, actually, in bed. I was watching the kid. I love this. I love the Porsche and the Audi TT.
And the doves.
And the doves. What's wrong with the doves, you know? And IQ, I am gagging for it. I love that. You know, that's my... And he was nearly Wolverine. And he was nearly Wolverine. If that film hadn't gone 2 weeks overshooting, he would have been Wolverine.
Scheduling conflicts.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
How crazy is that?
That's upsetting.
And just think,
what, because you would have wanted Douglas Scott to be...
No, to think that
Hugh
there was
Jackman
almost a
wouldn't have
world where Hugh Jackman wasn't Wolverine.
Crazy.
Here's the real question, though. In a parallel universe, does that mean we have an X-Men franchise in which Doug Ray Scott, not only is Doug Ray Scott Wolverine, but Xander Berkeley actually returned for Taken 3? That's the real question. So, over to you, boffins and theorists.
Yeah, make that work.
No, so say you've got that consistency, which is a double-edged sword, and for me, you feel there's something slightly worn about it. But you know what? It's like having a worn blanket that's still comfortable. You know, it's worn, it's frayed, but it still keeps you warm and comfy. I like that. You know, it's like it's kind of like that in a way.
Yeah.
Unlike a Bond film now, where you go and you don't know what to expect any time now with a Bond film.
You just know it's going to be a bit dark and a bit grittier.
You know, it could be Skyfall, but it could be Quantum of Solace. You know, it's that kind of thing. You don't know what to expect. Or it could be Die Another Day, or it could be... You don't know if it's going to be good or bad.
You fell asleep, but I rewatched Die Another Day. I don't think it was that bad. I remember watching it when it's kind of cheesy.
You don't remember the hype where it was going to be the ultimate Bond film.
I remember seeing it in the cinema when I was a kid and loving it, but then again, I would have been 13.
And for all the hype that Skyfall got for being Bond 50, remember, Die Another Day was Bond 40. So,
oh yeah, that's true. And it was also the final...
well, we didn't know at the time that it was the final Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah. I remember him
when
going
we saw the film,
going
we
on
were
with John
kind of
from Lost
glad.
Show, and we were like, "You going to do another one?" He was like, "Nope."
Nope. Done.
Please. I will say in Mission Impossible's defence.
Yeah.
For all the warm, comfortable blanket of somebody who's seen the others.
Worn. Blanket.
Both.
Worn and warm.
Yeah. For somebody who's seen all the others, for somebody who is coming in for this one, it doesn't feel tired. It doesn't feel like, this is a franchise on its last legs. It feels like this is still really interesting, isn't it?
So before we wrap up, then let's just do the cast thing. So because Tom Cruise is, he's great as he always is. Jeremy Renner, actually, you know what? I'm quite lost. I like Jeremy Renner.
I really like his role in this. To be honest, he's kind of moved on to like senior.
Yeah, because it works. He is the straight man to Tom Cruise's slightly less straight man.
And then you move on to the comedic foil, Benji.
Yeah, so Simon Pegg, which it's getting a little bit tired, but it works.
He gets more to do this time.
He does get more to do, and Ving Rhames, who's always
just Ving Rhames.
And actually, funnily enough, I was doing the written review for this, and I was adding the tags, and I added Ving Rhames. And first of all, Predictive changed Ving to Bing, and then changed the entirety of Ving Rhames to Bohemian Rhapsody.
Nice.
Wow.
Same difference, really.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Totally thing. But Rebecca Ferguson owns the film. Love her in it.
She's really good.
I did also really like Alec Baldwin, who at one point we realised for the first time as a cinematic audience that Alec Baldwin genuinely has to switch on being Alec Baldwin. And there is a moment in which he's just handed a phone. He's handed a phone though, and he literally goes, he just takes a beat, and then
when he's in the plane,
he takes a beat, and then he's Alec Baldwin. Really? He charges up to do.
I would also say this is the cinematic revelation that Alec Baldwin has sausages for fingers.
Does he? Does he have sausages for fingers?
When you watch
he's
it,
like holding up his hands.
He'll hold up his hands. You'll notice it. His fingers just become sausages.
Don't tell me that.
It was all I could think about when I saw that scene.
What's the line that he says as well? It's an
about
amazing line.
Him being like the manifestation of destiny.
Hunt is the manifestation of destiny.
Yeah.
There is no person he can't become, no room he cannot enter, no space he cannot violate.
It was
he's
incredible.
And then he's there.
When he just says his surname.
He says hunt as if it's another very similar sounding word, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Right, okay, one final thing. We've got it, without spoiling it, we have to discuss the ending, because this seems to be quite divisive. Now, myself and my friend Rich, we went to the press show, and I thought the ending was very... Considering this is a franchise represented by, a dynamite fuse, I felt the ending was very much snuffing out that fuse very suddenly. What did you think of it? Because I thought it was very damp ending. Very rushed.
I didn't really find it rushed. I think it still had an element of kind of tension being built up. I really like bad guy. I really like Sean Harris.
Sean Harris.
I would have liked to have seen him in more. I've seen him in Prometheus and a couple of other things.
In Prometheus,
this is probably his most kind of prominent role.
Couldn't find his way out of a cave.
I think he gets something attached to his face, doesn't he? Oh, is that Rafe Spall?
No, it's Rafe Spall.
They're there, aren't they?
Sean Harris is the one in Prometheus who supposedly works with caves but can't find his way out of one.
Oh, he's the one that's in Love Rocks, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's like, just a bloody geologist. Yeah. Love Rocks.
With his face tattoo. Or whatever.
Yeah.
His head tattoo. Is it?
Yes.
So, what did you think of Sean Harris in the ending?
I don't understand why anybody would not like the ending.
Okay, fair enough. That's fair enough.
I thought it was exciting. It was the element of okay. It was a bit like rushed, I guess, but it was like quickly over.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that was a bad thing.
Because I had forgotten before I saw the film. When I came out afterwards, I suddenly came back to me that the ending apparently was retooled.
Okay.
When the release date changed from Christmas to summer, it was moved up 6 months. Apparently, the ending was retooled, and I can't help but think that might be a bit evident. Based on that ending, I did think if I had paid £15 to see this in IMAX, I might have asked for a refund of £1.50. No, I did briefly think.
I would have given them back a £5 for go on.
The IMAX ident.
Yeah. Oh no, the IMAX ident's terrific. I have seen that.
That's worth £1.50.
It has.
As soon as I saw that, I just became like an 8-year-old boy.
Actually, yeah, I'll tell you what. Give me my refund for my £1.50 refund for the ending, and I'll pay you the £1.50 as a charitable donation for the greatest IMAX ident since Furious 7, which had its engine revving version. What else was I going to say on this one? I enjoyed it overall. I think there are signs of fraying on the edges. I don't think it's falling to pieces or anything, but I think it needs something needs to be injected.
At least one more.
I think something needs to inject something new into it though next time.
I just want to see who's going to be making the film next.
That's it.
Could be taking bets on who it's
Michael Bay, Mission Impossible. Could that
happen? Spare me. Please spare me. Sam Mendes maybe, but I don't think he's...
What about a McG, Mission Impossible? Would you settle for a McG?
Don't dare. No. What's his name? The guy that did Stretch.
Ooh, Joe Carnahan.
I've got like a Joe Carnahan one.
In fact, wasn't Joe Carnahan briefly attached to Mission Impossible 3 at one point?
Get him in for number 6.
I'm sure he was going to do Mission Impossible 3 briefly.
That'd be my vote anyway.
But yeah, so okay, competitions. We've got some interesting competitions coming up.
What have we got this time?
Okay, so we've got as of Monday, we're giving away Everly on DVD. That's something we're doing. Okay. Remember, we reviewed that quite recently.
That was like a month or two?
It was a really narrow release because it was cinema and VOD, if you remember.
Oh, okay,
so now the DVD's out. So we've got copies of Everly to give away. So if you go on the site, you can enter that as of Monday. As of the following Monday as well, we're going to have, what have we got offhand? I really can't remember now.
I think we've got rid of Ted, haven't we?
It's Sinister 2. Ted's gone. Sinister 2 is what we're running the week after.
Right, cool.
So we're going to be running stuff for Sinister 2 the following Monday. So go on there, there's images to your heart's content. You can enter pretty much as many times as you like, really, because we can't seem to find a way to place a restriction on it.
There's no questions or anything, and you go for it.
And if you're one of those people who's sending in 5 entries at a time, don't think we notice. We know it's you. Oh, we know. They all come through to the same inbox. We see them.
We know who you are.
And then we print them all out and we put them up on the wall and we fling darts at them randomly, and that's how we pick the winners.
We always find out. Baskin Robbins always finds out.
Actually, what we do is we print out all the entries, we scrunch them up into balls, and we throw them. Whichever one the dog catches, whichever one Lola catches, that's a winner. That's how we pick them.
Unofficial off-screen mascot, Lola.
That's exactly how we. She's like our Top Gear dog. She's the on-screen dog. So right, let's have a little break then, and we will come back and look at The Cobbler and Beyond the Reach and the top 10, because we had a week off last week, so we did, got a few in the top 10 to cover.
Yeah, that's it.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is OffScreen.
And we're back. Right, okay, so we've got a bit of a weird one this time, Case, as you know. We did explain this. Okay, so basically, The Cobbler, the Adam Sandler film The Cobbler.
Yes.
Right, we've got this to review, but we already did it.
We did, May.
Well, not you and I. John Dickinson and I reviewed this.
My doppelganger.
Yeah, because I've never seen you and John Dickinson in a room at the same time. So.
Except when I host a quiz.
Except for all those times.
But except for at least 15 times.
I sort of figure that it's kind of like Bruce Wayne and Batman, where he just gets another guy to step into the cowl.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
So basically, on the 23rd of May, when we reviewed Tomorrowland, on that show as well, The Cobbler was released. And it was released in cinemas, and we saw it, and we reviewed it, and we did all that. And now, for some reason, and I've yet to find the actual explanation as to why, but it's on release again this weekend. So, rather than review it from scratch, we're going to take the lazy-ass option and just include our review from way back then. So, here you go. So, The Cobbler, which is the latest from station agent director Thomas McCarthy. The Cobbler is the story of Max Simpkins, a sort of deflated, down-on-his-luck, local New York cobbler. And I don't mean he makes pies, I mean he fixes shoes. Right. So, effectively what you've got is a crack whereby Max Simpkins discovers in his basement of his shop an old cobbler's machine. I want to say cobbling machine, but I don't think that really... It's not really a cobbling machine. An old machine to fix shoes, which happens to be enchanted and bestows upon every pair of shoes it fixes the ability for the wearer... any wearer to assume the life of the person whose shoes they are. So, if you fixed Michael Jordan's shoes with this machine, you could put them on and experience what it's like to be Michael Jordan for 5 minutes. Well, or until you took them off. You can literally take one shoe off and turn back into yourself. That's the idea. Now, Max, played by Adam Sandler, initially uses this to effectively experience more in life. He uses it to, experience wish fulfillment, effectively. There's that gorgeous girl down the street. I've always wondered what it would be like to, be with a girl like that. So, he becomes her boyfriend. For example, her boyfriend, of course, being played by Dan Stevens, which I'm sure ached you to the core, John.
Oh, it was awful.
I know what a fan you are of Mr. Stevens. And so... of course, complications arise along the way. He finds himself inadvertently crossing paths with a local mob enforcer, I want to say. Yeah. And becoming involved in a plot, in a sort of land development swindle plot, through which he may be able to find his true calling. Or can he? Here's a clip which doesn't feature Adam Sandler, but it does feature Adam Sandler's character in the guise of the mob enforcer, who, for the purposes of this clip, I want to point out is a very large and imposing man. Very large, very scary man. And this is him crossing paths as that person with someone else whose life he wants to assume. And of course, how do you assume someone's life? Well, the clip will tell you.
Excuse me.
Yeah?
What size are your shoes?
What, 10.5? Why?
Give me.
What?
Give me your shoes.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm real serious.
I don't believe it.
Give me your shoes. And you can tell that there is that sort of very plunky sort of like an old Hebrew score to it. You get this in a lot of movies that involve Jewish characters, but traditional Jewish characters. I don't mean like just Billy Crystal. I mean it's a movie with Josh Gad, so it has that kind of score. You know what I mean? In an old Mel Brooks drama. There you go. In a drama that has Mel Brooks in it, this is the kind of score you get. And that's very much representative of pretty much the first half of the film.
That's right.
First 2/3, which play like a sort of Jerry Lewis vehicle from way back when. And do you know what? Really enjoyable.
Yeah, completely agree.
For that period. That Jerry Lewis vehicle aspect to it, in which Adam Sandler is not doing that shouty thing he does. All right! That one he does. Yeah. I hate that so much. It was fine in the 90s when the material was good. It's not that's not going to save a film now, and that's what Adam Sandler's always banked on. I keep wondering who's worse, Adam Sandler or Vince Vaughn, and you think actually Adam Sandler's kind of worse because we know he's capable of better. We've seen it. We saw it in the 90s. And if you've never seen the movie Bulletproof, go and see it, and then you'll be reminded why Adam Sandler was once someone actually worth watching. Let's say this is a different beat for Adam Sandler. This is more in line with that Jerry Lewis vehicle. It wins you over with that Jerry Lewis vehicle style, with that somber, comedically tinged fantasy drama aspect. And then decides to chuck all that goodwill out the window by going and becoming an Adam Sandler film. And I don't need another Adam Sandler film in my life. I've seen too many of them. I think once you've sat through That's My Boy and Jack and Jill, you don't need any more Adam Sandler in your life. No. I mean, Blended was actually about as funny as feeding yourself into a blender. And I'm not exaggerating. Blended was terrible. And here we are again. I mean, incidentally, Blended made a fortune. But no. As I say, I mean, it's something interesting for Adam Sandler. Thomas McCarthy, this isn't his best work, but it's okay, it probably is his worst, but that's only because his calibre is a little bit higher. For modern Adam Sandler films, and I do mean like the 12-year-old kids who go and see Adam Sandler films, they're going to be bored to death with this purely by the first half because it's not an Adam Sandler film, and then that second half is, and that second half they're going to love, but the first half will bore them to tears. And of course, Dan Stevens only appears in it for about 5 minutes of screen time, so I'm sure you were let down as well.
5 good minutes.
But, I mean, for an old school Adam Sandler fan, which I consider myself to be, I'm very much a 90s Adam Sandler fan, it's a reminder of, the first half of this film is a reminder of the things he used to be able to do. And the second half is a reminder of how bad it's become. I mean, I'm sure you have your own thoughts on this.
Yeah, I was really surprised by this film. I am not an Adam Sandler fan in any way, shape and form. Clearly a Dan Stevens fan, but that's not the reason why I checked the film out. I obviously checked the film out because we were going to review this today.
Fair enough.
I completely agree with you. I actually enjoyed this film a lot more than I expected it to.
Is it because of that first half?
No, the entire film.
You really enjoyed the whole thing?
I did. I liked how it kind of developed. It kind of lost its way and kind of halfway through as it muddled along. It did kind of lag a little bit.
Right, without going into spoiler territory, right, because you enjoyed it, I need to ask you this, right? Without going into spoiler territory.
Yes.
The movie's big reveal, right, which incidentally involves, there's a character reveal which is telegraphed way, way in advance, but there is also then, it ends on a plot reveal. Now, is it just me that thinks the plot reveal doesn't make a lick of sense?
Not at all.
Okay, I just want to check because to me it really doesn't.
Because when we refer to this character, and again not going into specifics, I loved that moment. That moment I really did enjoy, but then where did it go after that? It just fell apart. But don't let that put you off whatsoever.
It did have some emotional resonance, but for me it was a little bit cheesy, but I can't really fault.
There's nothing wrong with a bit of cheese every now and then.
Very true. Well, that was a lot of fun, wasn't it? You got a whole review, and we didn't get to lift a finger for that.
I know. That was great. Can we just do that like every week?
What, you want to just review things 6 months in advance so that we don't have to do anything at Christmas? Is that what it is?
Just have some time off.
Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Do you know what? It's the best film of the year. How much did you love the part where Han Solo got shot in the back?
Yeah, but if
was alright, but...
You say this now, if that happens, you'll be devastated.
By Chewie.
Yeah, Chewie turned on him, betrayed him to the Empire, and...
Pulls out his arms.
Wookiee don't rip your arms off when you reboot the franchise. Right, so, okay, box office top 10 time.
Number 10.
Magic Mike XXL.
Have you seen this one?
I've seen it twice.
Did you see it twice? Did you go and see this at the MKs?
No.
You did not, but you saw it twice.
I've seen what is potentially the best scene.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, you showed it me.
Joe Manganiello's starring performance at the end of the film.
Oh, yes. Okay. Right, so Cass, I'm good, because it's nice to get a lady's perspective on this. So please, do give us your take on Magic Mike.
Okay, so it definitely is a worse film, but better film than the first one.
It's not as good a film, but it's more enjoyable, because I said that.
100%. It is... The first film was a better film in inverted commas. I didn't really enjoy it that much.
Film.
Even then, I didn't really enjoy the cinematic elements. I didn't even enjoy that much in the first film.
Okay,
I felt like the storyline, the way it was advertised and marketed,
very
jarred
deceptive.
very much with the actual film that it ended up being. I didn't really care too much about the characters enough to be bothered about their storylines.
You mean you weren't won over by Alex Pettyfer's emotionally involving
I'm never won over by Alex Pettyfer's emotional performances. So the first film, enough to watch it. I went with a lot of enthusiastic Channing Tatum fans, so it was enjoyable.
So when you got to the sequel, did you do the clever thing, which was to get drunk and go and see it at 11 o'clock on a Friday night?
I did not.
Ooh,
no,
I
didn't.
out.
I didn't get drunk. I did go with girls,
good.
as is the logical choice. Both times I went with ladies that I love. And well, I do.
As opposed to ladies that you hate. Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, preferably.
You, bitch, come and see a movie.
I hate you. You want to see this film with me?
I like you. We're going to a movie.
But went in knowing that it was going to be more what the first film promised to be.
Yeah.
Knowing that it wasn't going to be as heavily focused on Channing Tatum, who I love, and he's an incredible dancer.
But isn't he?
He is not the face I enjoy watching in the franchise.
Who is the face?
The face is Joe Manganiello.
Joe Manganiello?
He is my number one face. He literally, like, he's sculpted from stone and sent from God to us. That's how beautiful I find his face.
Okay.
Just the face.
Just the face. The rest of the body's great as well, but the face, the greying beard, everything about him.
Just sound like my mother.
All the body. It's
Yeah.
just bonus.
So
you enjoyed the second one a lot more then?
yeah, went into the second one. Felt like some aspects that were missing from the first one, I enjoyed a lot more.
Okay, fair enough.
Number 9.
So, number 9 and 8, we don't have to really talk too much about. Number 9...
So Empire Strikes Back, that will be in the top 10 until Force Awakens comes out.
Okay.
Number 8.
Yeah, and then number 8 was a Bollywood. Would you like to...
Well, it's Jadranji Baijan, isn't it?
Baijan, yeah.
Okay, well,
pretty good, yeah.
As a standard policy, we don't tend to review the Bollywood films because they're never around for a second week, so there's never any... Also, there's never press shown.
So let's skip right on down the chain.
Okay.
Number 7.
To Terminator Genesis.
Terminator Genesis.
Or Jellyfish, or
Phil
whatever you
Collins
call
is
it.
rolling in his grave.
If you'd have sent Phil Collins back, amazing.
God, that's amazing. I want to
Peter
see a
Gabriel would have
movie-
been there waiting
yeah.
to punch him in the face.
I want a time-travelling Phil Collins. That's what I want. No, I found Terminator Genesis really lackluster. It feels strangely televisual.
He said it was like a really, really bad pilot.
And then you consider that the actual Terminator TV
was,
pilot
yeah.
was better than
Yeah.
Genesis. And which is a shame, because I really like Emilia Clarke in it. And Jai Courtney isn't as bad as he usually
I was
is.
going to say, it's the most tolerable I've ever found
Yeah.
Jai Courtney.
Although I think that's because, the male lead in the last movie was so awful.
Yeah.
Despite being Christian Bale.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Christian Bale is
yeah.
horrendous in it. Sam Worthington.
I love that they have now actually replaced Sam Worthington with Jai Courtney. The cycle is complete. Is the next movie going to start Armie Hammer? Is that how this is going to work?
No,
Oh, don't say that.
Don't tarnish Armie Hammer's name.
First Danson and now Hammer.
What are you doing? Burning bridges everywhere.
But so Terminator Genesis, you're not a fan.
No.
Are you a franchise fan?
I'm not really a franchise fan. I was brought to the screening on the promise of, hey, do you want to come and see a really bad film? It delivered on the promise. Yeah, it delivered the promise.
Did you do
It
the
was
IMAX?
a bad film. We didn't do the IMAX.
No, did you see the IMAX?
I didn't do IMAX. Yeah, we went to Little Odeon.
But
So you saw it on a living room TV, effectively.
effectively,
Yeah, 15-inch TV.
which probably added to the TV effect. But it wasn't great at all.
Okay, fair enough.
Number 6.
Ted 2 is our next one on the list.
Now, I'm a fan of Ted 2. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as the first one now. Although, I was thinking about this, on the comedy sequel spectrum, right?
Yeah.
The higher echelon being 22 Jump Street, for example. The lowest point being The Hangover 2. And the midpoint being Horrible Bosses 2. This is slightly higher than Horrible Bosses 2.
Yeah, put it there.
I would go with that. It feels like it's not Weekend at Bernie's 2, put it that way.
No, and it's not Hot Tub Time Machine 2.
Yeah.
And it's not Hot Tub Time Machine 2, no. Although, I would like to see Adam Scott turn up in a Ted sequel. That would be kind of good.
That'd be good, yeah.
It would fit that, actually. Well, now, I like Ted 2, in spite of the fact that it does... The first movie felt like it was from the maker of American Dad. This feels like it's from the maker of Family Guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Let us hope the next one does not feel like it's from the creator of the Cleveland Show. But it does feel a lot more sketchy. It's sketch based.
Yeah,
it is a very
loads of different cutaway gags.
Yeah, cutaway gags. There are some absolute gems though. Mark Wahlberg in a courtroom on a witness stand is hilarious to me.
Improv.
The improv class is a great thing. That post credits, that gag that comes back in the post credits, I think is great.
Jurassic Park gag, I like that
Jurassic
gag as well.
Park.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good gags, but it is like an extended Family Guy episode. I mean, and weirdly, there is a Family Guy episode that has the exact plot of Ted 2, which makes it even eerier. But you know what? I liked it. I've seen it several times, and the humour does hold up. I will say it's got rewatchability, which, strangely enough, our next one doesn't quite have, but we'll get to that now.
Number 5.
That next one is Jurassic World.
So, Jurassic World, I've seen this like 4 times now.
I've seen it twice now.
You love it, don't you?
See, the first time I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Second time I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So
that's quite a drop.
It's moving down.
Is that your poster quote? Is that yeah. I lost some realies.
Lost some realies.
Kase Allen on screen. Kase Allen on screen.
In really like small text, really small.
Yeah,
text.
really small text with that small quote on the bottom.
Yeah.
Cass?
Yeah, it was enjoyable. Definitely, it felt really long to me.
Did it feel long to you?
Yeah, I felt like I was in there for a long time watching that film, and I don't know why.
I think it's 2 hours 4, isn't it? It's something like 2 hours 4 minutes.
It's about 3 hours and 4 if you include Vincent D'Onofrio saying militarised dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it in the week and I text Case at half. I don't know if I told you this. I actually text Case and told her, "Hey, I'm watching Jurassic World again. Did you know that Vincent D'Onofrio wants to militarise raptors?"
And I was like, really? I didn't pick up on that.
I didn't get that the first time. Yeah, it was subtle.
No, it was
subtle.
very subtle. No, my mum hadn't seen it. I was visiting my mum and she wanted to see it, so we saw it and she loved it. And she had no idea who Chris Pratt was before seeing the film.
What a treat for her.
And, the following day, because we were in the middle of Cambridge, we went out for cream tea for my birthday. Because that's apparently a thing you do in Cambridge. And we were discussing it, and I said, "So Chris Pratt is like the biggest star in the world. Mom, what do you think?" She goes, "Oh, I love him."
Who doesn't?
And I went, "Oh, okay, he's the guy I showed you the picture of. Remember he was fat and now he's buff." She's like, "No, I don't remember." I showed her the picture and she's like, "Oh my god, is that the same guy?" I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah.
And I explained to her about Parks and Recreation, and I said Guardians of the Galaxy.
Has she seen Guardians?
She's seen bits of it, and when she bought me the Blu-ray for Christmas, and she went, "Oh, is that weird space thing you like so much?" I'm like, "No, that's Star Trek," but yes, the other weird space thing that I like so much. And so Chris Pratt fan now, my mum, and she enjoyed it. She said it wasn't as good as the first.
Wow.
So
that was a given.
That was a given.
But it's much better than 2 and 3.
Yeah.
But it is better than 2 and 3.
So I think that's the biggest compliment you could ever pay for it.
It is very true. I will say this, the more I see it though, the more I really love Irfan Khan's character in it.
He's
I
great.
really like this guy. And Jake Johnson.
Oh,
who is incredible in everything he does.
Whom I forever watch that film and just think it's Hollywood Case. It's Hollywood Case, and then you watch her, and it's Indie Case.
And you watch Me Overnight, and you're like, oh,
and it's the indie comedy Case. So
number 4.
It's coming up at number 4. We've got Southpaw.
Now, we missed this one while we were away last week. Have you seen this one?
No, still no.
Now, I really enjoyed this one. This is
you did text me when you saw it. You said the big one to watch.
It's predictable. It's a very predictable film. Like beat for beat, you can kind of predict what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's an underdog boxing story. It's a fallen from grace. Weirdly, it's the plot of Rocky 3. It is the plot of Rocky 3 with Jake Gyllenhaal and
who is playing the character of
Apollo Creed.
Yeah, who's playing?
I'm not sure who he is. I didn't get his name. I'm pretty sure he's a rapper who's just trying.
Is there a scene where they're running on the beach?
There's a similar kind of thing.
Okay.
It's that whole thing. It's not Apollo Creed though. It's Forrest Whitaker.
Nice.
And all of this comes from the writer of Sons of Anarchy, Kurt Sutter, better known as You. At the end, as you call him, at the end of every episode of Sons of Anarchy, you just go, "Oh, you."
Or the episode where he bites off his tongue and you call him Ew.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, and you're like, you. And
great episode.
So you've got the writer of Sons of Anarchy, you've got Jake Gyllenhaal, you've got Rachel McAdams, you've got Forrest Whitaker, and then best of all, you've got Antoine Fuqua directing. And I didn't realise. Do you know what his production company's called?
What?
Fuqua Films.
Great name.
That is amazing.
Dynamic.
That is dynamic.
I mean, that surname by itself.
It's actually
incredible.
Fuqua Films, but it's written as Fuqua Films.
Fuqua Films.
Which sounds like a weird kind of sushi, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, can I get an order of the Fuqua Films? Thank you.
Yeah.
It's like for Filka fish. Can I get the Fuqua Films, please?
Well, I will say for Southpaw, I was told yesterday, whilst buying the tickets for Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, that you could just be watching Southpaw. That was what I was told.
Is that what you were told?
Yeah,
okay. Do I know the person who said this? It wasn't Greg, was it?
It wasn't Greg, no.
Okay. Sounds like a Greg one, that one. Okay, so what we got next?
Number 3.
Those quote-unquote lovable minions.
You really don't like Minions, do you?
No. I mean, when you reviewed Minions on the show a couple of weeks ago, the setup you gave me for the film Minions was good.
Yeah.
I was kind of... I like that idea.
Did you then see it?
No.
Oh, okay. All right,
Even though I said...
We're still going blind on this.
I know, yeah. The whole setup, it's they are going around serving different.
They go through history to serve different masters, but they keep accidentally killing them.
Okay, that's good.
And then
the rest of the film happens. So I don't.
And then the rest of the film happens. Yeah. But,
Yeah.
I mean, there is a brief moment in which it is implied that Napoleon Bonaparte tried to arrange the actual genocide of the minion. They're called a tribe, incidentally, not a race. They're a tribe. I did notice that because I didn't think, are they a species? Are they a race? What are they? They're a tribe. That's the official definition of them.
Right.
So, and they originate from single-cell organisms. We're shown this through like a microscope.
I love that.
All of which follows the trailer from Secret Life of Pets, which I will be honest,
that's a pretty high bar, isn't it? That's pretty high bar.
But yeah. So, I don't know. I think kids are going to love the Minions. Parents will laugh their asses off, and it's got a great sort of swinging 60s soundtrack, which seems to be the big reason to have set it in the 60s. Okay. There's a couple of very obvious 60s gags in there that you can kind of see coming, like a particular London street that relates to an album cover. Gets referenced, if you can imagine. Props from me go to Michael Keaton and Alison Janney as the matriarch and patriarch of the greatest family you have ever seen on screen. They are this American suburban criminal family, and they are genius.
Well, she is an amazing movie role, isn't she?
She is an amazing movie, everything. I did not know she was involved in the franchise. I'm going to go see it tomorrow.
There you go. Okay, because of Alison Janney.
Yeah.
Is this what got you into the Duff, is it?
You've not
seen
the Duff. We were talking about it yesterday. Yeah, she would love it.
You must see the Duff, because... Oh, no, you did! Oh, no, yes, I did! You must see the Duff.
I'm well aware I love it.
Number 2.
So coming up at number 2, we've got an incredible film, I would say. Ant-Man.
You think it's incredible?
I would definitely say it's incredible. I'd say...
Yes.
You mean incredible?
Yeah. Astonishing.
Nice.
I think it is made up of several tales to astonish. But that gag is actually made in the film as well.
Scott says it, yeah.
Right, I really enjoyed Ant-Man. Now, Wilson and I were talking about this morning. One thing we were saying is after the convoluted mess that was Age of Ultron, part of what makes Ant-Man so successful really is how simplistic and straightforward it is, and I think that's needed after Ant-Man. And you look at something like Guardians as well. Guardians is quite straightforward, simplistic kind of a film, and that works as well.
It's like a team film, and we've got to learn.
These films don't need to be any more complicated than Iron Man 3 or Winter Soldier. That's it. And Iron Man 3 is complicated. You know, it is complex in terms of character. Captain America Winter Soldier is complex in terms of plot. They need be nothing more than those. That should be the highest bar in terms of complexity. Ant-Man and like Guardians of the Galaxy kind of keeps it simple, and that's why it works. And also, it's funny. It is really funny.
It's definitely the funniest of the MCU.
Can I ask, as a lady, did Paul Rudd do it for you in this one with the little buff body?
Paul Rudd has done it for me since Clueless, so it's been a long time fan.
Would you have been like 5 when Clueless came out?
Yeah, I would have. That's
like
long time love, Paul Rudd. But no, yeah, definitely. I think by scaling down the character, technically, but scaling everything down made it much more effective.
No wink.
Okay, fair enough. So, on to the number 1.
Number 1.
Inside Out.
Inside Out. Now, I take it you've both seen this.
Yeah.
I can imagine you were at the first showing for this kind of thing.
Well, yeah, first hour, like the earliest convenience,
Yeah.
So, how much did you love it?
Well, you were crying like the Niagara Falls, weren't you?
Yeah. I wasn't just like pretty crying a few tears. It was like ugly crying, pulling a face.
Ugly crying.
Unable to control my face. Crying.
You went 3D glasses up, so it was okay.
Yeah, I covered it. But so much so that as we were leaving the cinema, an old man came over to me and said, "Have you been crying?" And I was like, "I have been." Yeah.
Did he look like the old man from Up? Because that
was
be staying in the end
gone
of the
again. Gone again. Yeah.
But no, I really liked Inside Out. It's really well written. It's really well crafted. Visually, it's brilliant. It does quite complex things in terms of relatively simplistic visuals, which I think is quite impressive. And some of the thought, no pun intended, that's gone into it, like for instance the subconscious.
Train of thoughts.
Train of thoughts, exactly.
Love that.
I love these things because they're quite well thought out. Paul Ekman has input in this film. I didn't realise. We did the press review. We got told at the very end of it that Paul Ekman had been one of the consultants. I'm like, oh damn it, I know a lot about Paul Ekman. I would have been talking about Paul Ekman this whole time if you'd let me know. No one told us that. And Paul Ekman, if you've ever seen the TV series Lie to Me with Tim Roth, it's based on Paul Ekman. And I have several of his books. Never read them, but
I have them.
But I have them.
Yeah.
I've watched several documentaries on the subject, though.
Yeah.
No, inside of that, I think Amy Poehler is terrific. Bill Hader. Lewis Black I love in this.
I was angry, he's incredible.
He's amazing.
Who plays Sadness? Phyllis?
Sadness is Phyllis Smith from The Office.
Yeah, of course,
plays Phyllis in The Office.
Yeah.
And really well cast, I think, as well.
Yeah,
it's a very well cast film.
Yeah.
Even Mindy
definitely.
Kaling, who I hate normally.
I love her.
Works really well for this
Works,
guy.
doesn't it?
Yeah, I really love the
But it's
casting
all
of the
about
main
Amy Poehler.
versions.
Yeah, she just
Obviously.
embodies joy. I mean, you
She
just
makes-
watching Parks and Rec.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. She is very.
And it's
joyful.
a very touching, very deep, very thoughtful film. No pun intended. But I really liked it, and I did the short that's before it as well, which is Lava, I believe.
Yeah, that was great.
Beautiful.
That was another one that's sort of experimental, like Feast. It's kind of experimental in its sort of Paper Man, or what was the one with the grates and it was like real photography. And it was like real parts of the street would.
Oh, Blue Umbrella.
Blue Umbrella, that was it.
That was
Or even
really
Night and Day with the
amazing,
whole
Yeah, there was
playing with
some
the animation
They're
style.
getting quite experimental with the shorts, aren't they?
I love it.
But
yeah, no, really
Good
really
musical
incredible.
one. Yeah, we don't do many like musical ones, so it was especially good film.
Yeah.
So, the final review of the week then.
I've not seen this.
You've not seen
You
this?
have.
Okay, I'm going to make this quick then. So, Beyond the Reach, which is by Jean-Baptiste Leonetti, stars Jeremy Irvin and Michael Douglas. And here's the setup, right? Okay, you strapped in.
The setup is incredible.
The setup's incredible. Right, strap yourself in, Case.
I'm
right.
ready.
You've got a young
ready.
search and rescue deputy who's the best tracker in the business, right? But he's about 20. You can make the screen in your mind's eye. Yeah, there we go. Okay, he's the best tracker in the business. He's about 20 years old. He's played by Jeremy Irvin. His name's Ben. And Ben is called into work one day to escort, to be paid to escort a wealthy businessman into the Mojave Desert beyond the reach. So this is at a point when you can't walk safely back without dying from exposure. Right? So heat exposure during the day, cold exposure by night. You will die if you aren't in a very well prepared vehicle. And he has to escort this wealthy businessman, Michael Douglas, there game hunting. Michael Douglas soon accidentally kills a man and tries to get his young deputy to go along with covering it up. And when he doesn't, what do you think Michael Douglas's response might be? Turns out,
it all goes a bit wrong.
Yeah, turns out that if you disagree with a man holding a high-powered rifle who's a very, very good shot, there's a good chance it might not go your way. And very soon, young Mr. Irvin finds himself forced to flee for his life in the desert, chased by a madman with a gun. Here's a clip. Yeah, here's a clip.
How long is the highway, Ben? 40, 50 miles, you think? And like you said, this is going to be 120 by noon, isn't it?
Come on, you're right. It was a nice. Right, I saw that. I saw it. All right, but this would be murder.
No, I'm not killing you, Ben. I'm just going to watch you kind of, wander around for a while.
You think you can really do that?
You just watch me.
We were all saying none of us like Jeremy Irvin. I have previously described him as being as drippy as a drain pipe in a monsoon.
Yeah.
That's one of the things.
The horse from Warhorse is a better actor.
He's my horse, sir. But he's my horse. Shut
He
up,
managed
Jeremy.
to take one of the most beautiful plays and turn his performance into one of the worst films I've ever seen.
This is very true.
Great Expectations.
No, that was Warhorse.
No, that was Warhorse.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Oh, well, two, man.
Two, though.
Right, this
it's not even a play.
This is the best performance of his career. Far and away. And also, he's hiding it behind a very well-developed American accent. You forget that he's Jeremy Irvin for a point.
Well, that's good.
For machinations of the plot, he just spent most of the movie in shorts. Literally only wearing a pair of shorts, fleeing for his life in this desert. And it's a cat and mouse type game. Now, Michael Douglas, great in it. But it's Michael Douglas playing a psycho with a gun. Now, you can kind of imagine he can do that in his sleep. It is a very standard Michael Douglas role. But you know what? It works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's excellent. It's gripping. It's suspense. Got a great score to it. Cinematography is beautiful. The landscape, the Mojave Desert, is as much of a physical threat, obviously, as Michael Douglas is, and it feels like it throughout. The desert constantly feels like it is pushing in on this character. And it's really, really well done. It's tightly packed into about 92 minutes, and well worth checking out. I can't recommend it highly enough. But definitely see it. It's like if I were going to describe it as anything, it's like a cross between. You ever see The Edge with Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin?
Oh, the bet, yeah.
Yeah, similar setup. It's like The Edge
great
needs
film,
127 hours. Can you
Cool.
imagine that? That's the love child of those two films.
Good combo.
So, good combo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, so should we have a quick skim of some film news? Let's see what we've got left over for the week.
Yeah, let's do it. Of course, we should talk
yes,
about
Roddy Piper. Well, Roddy Piper died yesterday, didn't he? Age 61.
Yeah.
And I only watched him recently in WWE Legends House as well.
He was in an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
He was in that. And you, of course, are wearing your They Live badge today, which is, of course, his second most famous role after being Rowdy Piper.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Well, also in the news we have...
Chewing bubblegum.
This is very true. Also in the news we have Relativity Studios are now officially bankrupt.
Yeah, that happened Thursday.
That happened. We all knew it was going for a long way off.
So quite a few films are in some peril.
Jane's Got a Gun, though, was saved. That was saved at the 11th hour.
I think they are trying to push that for the awards season, which is bizarre.
We've got... this was a weird one. Shaft. We're getting a reboot of Shaft, which is going to be from the creator of Blackish, I believe it's called, the sitcom with Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
For some reason, Lawrence Fishburne is in a sitcom because apparently doing
He's
CSI...
He's good.
Enough.
He's good.
Doing that.
Who's the lead guy?
Doing Hannibal.
Anthony Anderson.
Doing them all.
Well, right, so the creator of Blackish, whose name escapes me, is Kenya something, I think. Kenya. His first name's Kenya. Wow. And which sounds like they were saying Ken and then and someone misinterpreted it and went, Kenya, like the country.
He's alright, yeah.
Ken, he's alright. Well, the writer of the Shaft comics, whose name is David Walker, who's written the Shaft comics, and he's written a book as well called Shaft's Revenge, a novel. He's taken issue with it and has demanded new line, because apparently they will destroy the idea and ensure that we never get a good movie in his lifetime if this happens. So we've got that going on. Jake Gyllenhaal's going to star as a Boston Marathon bombing survivor in a movie called Stronger.
It's going to be directed by David Gordon Green, I believe.
It is, yes, David Gordon Green. Ab Fab the movie is going to start filming in October. I don't know if you've heard this.
Yeah, this has been in development for a while.
Are you from Essex? You should love Ab Fab.
I do love Ab Fab. I just feel like, every
film.
time there's been some sort of attempt to adapt it in a different way, it hasn't worked. Roseanne's final season, which was basically Ab Fab, when she couldn't sell the rights.
There is that, but also let's not forget that Mark Kermode was in one of the last specials for Ab Fab, so he deserves praise for that bit. I mean, who there? Can you imagine making that offer? Hey Mark, we know you're not an actor, but
can be involved.
Daniel Radcliffe is going to be starring in an FBI thriller called Imperium, in which he's an undercover FBI agent hunting white supremacists.
Ooh.
So we might get to see a tattered up, shaven-headed, swastika sporting version of Daniel Radcliffe.
Harry Potter being like Edward Norton.
Ed Norton, yeah.
Basically.
Mission Impossible 6 is coming, as we've said earlier. Battling Boy. This is an animated short. This is a graphic novel. This is going to be adapted into a big screen film, a proper big screen film, from the director of Feast, the Pixar film. Patrick Osborne, he's going to be directing that as well. I think that's about it for this week, isn't it? It's been a pretty hectic week.
Yeah, they've kind of announced some filming dates for Justice League and Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah.
That's the DC news for this week.
Tom Holland is officially confirmed for Civil War. He is officially going to be in it.
As a cameo.
Yeah.
But the writers of the new Spider-Man, who are the directors of Vacations, it's not going to be an origin story.
Yes, which is very good.
Yeah.
There was a very fake cast list out this week as well. A very fake cast list, written by someone who genuinely expected us to believe that Billy Zane would be cast as the Vulture and Jason Biggs as the Scorpion. What were these people smoking that day?
Is Billy Zane even allowed in films?
Andy Meekin and I once put a Flash movie poster into the world and then watched the ripple effect through social media. It was hilarious. Excellent. There were people who had prejudged the film based on this fake, very obviously photoshopped poster we had done, and it's kind of like what this cast list is.
Billy Zane was not the bomb in Phantom.
No. Billy Zane was not the bomb in Phantoms, but you know what? Ben Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms. I have never met Ben Affleck. I've never met Ben Affleck. I've always wanted to. Should I ever have the joy of doing any press thing that involves Ben Affleck, will begin any question to him with, Mr. Affleck, firstly, you were the bomb in Phantoms. Secondly...
Please do it.
It will be. John Mosby did specifically ask me, when we were at the Captain America junket last year, not to begin a question to Samuel L. Jackson with a question for Mr. Fishburne, which was a couple of days after the incident, and I thought he would have found hilarious. Mosby insisted, however, that he would not. So, yeah, there was that. So let's have a look at what we've got next week, and the list will load up sooner or later. We have Fantastic Four is out on Thursday. I don't know if you've heard about this.
Somebody's excited about it.
I'm excited. I'm not going to let
likes
people
Miles
get
Teller.
me down.
That person is not Van.
Would you like to know something really funny about Fantastic
Four?
Four?
The whole cast.
Josh Trank.
Well, yes, that is something really funny. Fantastic Four. Did you know that the reviews are embargoed until 4 o'clock the day before?
Really?
Yes. I wonder why. This wouldn't have anything to do with the fact that the press events are going on that afternoon as well. So anyone who can review it won't be available at 4 p.m. that day. It just seems unlikely to me. However, since the press things are full up due to, and I quote, high demand, I'm not going to it, so I'm not beholden to those rules. So I'm going to go to a public screening the night before. I can review it to my heart's content. Boom! There it is. What else have we got?
Fox.
Take that, Fox. We've got Diary of a Teenage Girl, starring Alexander Skarsgård, or if you're going to give him his real name, Mr. Gyllenhaal. We've got The Gift, which is Joel Edgerton's directorial debut.
Yeah.
He's got 90s adult thriller, hasn't he?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Interesting.
We've got Manglehorn with Al Pacino to look forward to as well.
Yeah. Again, directed by David Gordon Green.
Yeah.
He's getting around, that boy.
And we've got this one. I'm not sure what to make of this one. Max, which is the
Army Dog.
This is the Army Dog movie.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes, starring Thomas Hayden Church and Lauren Graham. I'm not particularly sure how that's going to turn out. Yeah.
Lorelai and
Sandman and Lorelai. Yeah. So all that's come and more next week off screen. So this has been a Candystore production for OnScreen. I've been Van Connor. This has been OffScreen.
My name is Kase and This has been OffScreen.
My name is Cassie Guyon. This has been OffScreen.
You didn't have to do that bit as well.
I know.
That's too far.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next week.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to OffScreen. For more news and reviews, visit onscreenfilm.com.